So, I was almost out of my B520, so I traded something away to get this this A120. So this is the first Larceny barrel proof. Neither of us have had this before. I literally just got this today opened, so this is new for me. It also has been open for a while, so we're not getting a neck pour out of it.
Sweet.
So we're getting what they hoped it would be, basically.
This is the sweetest nose we've had all night.
Agreed. It is so heavy on the sweet brown sugar.
Sweet brown sugar,
Caramel,
buttercream, vanilla cream.
Yep. It's very creamy in general.
Caramel, butterscotch.
It's almost like a candy sweetness at times to me.
It can be candy, yeah, because like...
But I feel like that's more of the butterscotch talking.
Yeah. Because this doesn't smell desserty. It does smell candy-ish at times more than it does desserty.
Like almost like the sugar notes are candy sugar,
yeah,
more than it is just straight sugar.
Yeah.
But this is like the nose is almost reminiscent of that Buffalo Trace wheat, but without the fruity aspect of the candy.
Yeah,
sweetness.
without the super candy.
It's like a candy bourbon instead of a candy, if that makes sense. Wow.
It's got a little bit of bite to it.
It does.
But the flavors on it are out right there and where they should be.
And for this to be the very first batch.
Because, I mean, I remember reading reviews saying, like, this was a hot batch, and, like, I see where they're coming from with that. This is definitely... It's got some heat to it. It's not spicy at all. It just has...
It has a Kentucky hug that I didn't expect it to have.
Yeah. But this is sweet throughout. Like, this is... Honestly, I think this is sweeter than B520.
I agree. I like B520 more by just a little bit, because this is very sweet, but this is really good.
I actually think I like how sweet this is. I just wish it wasn't so hot.
To me, it being hot redeems it a little bit more for me, because I like when I drink a cask drink and it has that warmth to it. I don't like when it drinks light a lot. But that's, again, me personally.
Because I really like the buttercream notes on this. I like the vanilla cream.
They go the whole way through, too. It's a very creamy, like, even the finish is creamy.
It's creamy vanilla sweet throughout, which I love in a bourbon, but it's hard to come by.
Almost like the finish is almost like an icing to me, like a buttercream icing.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking of. And the flavor on it is superb, but the heat is murderous.
You just added a little water, right?
Yeah, I dropped in some water because I like the heat.
Let me give that a try too, just to see if that's what it. I hope that's what it dials back.
Let's see.
This might be one of the few whiskeys I add a little water to when I drink it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Whoa. I
mean, it muted some of the sweetness, but like it took away all the heat.
It was all sweetness, so and it mutes a little sweetness. It's not like it's not all still sweet.
But this took away all the heat. Like the heat is completely gone. Like this is an easy sipper now.
And all we did was add. I literally added like 2 drops of water.
Yeah, that was just a little splash of water.
It's rare for me to have as you know, I am not one to add water to whiskey ever.
Yeah.
I do it so rarely that it's like a miracle when I do. This is one that I think I'll add a splash.
Which, hey, that just makes it last longer.
Because that makes it last longer. Not only that, as much as I like the flavor originally, it still has a good bit of warmth to it. It doesn't like eliminate it, but it eliminates like the heat. It just has that hug.
Yeah, no, because now all I'm getting is like the buttercream, vanilla, a little bit of oak spice still and tannins, which that's just the part of Larceny, I think.
I'm gonna have to sit there and compare this with B520 side by side.
Do what you gotta do, mate.
I'm gonna have to do it. I'm gonna have to do it each on its own and then each with a splash of water. I bet you I'm gonna like B520 more without water.
Just because.
And I'm gonna like the A120 more with the splash of water.
I could see that.
Because these are neck and neck, the two batches, and you know how much I like the B520.
Right.
I'm kind of surprised that like this batch, at first a lot of people didn't like the A120, and then the reviews started getting more positive as it went, and I think I see why.
You want to know what my hot take is?
Let's hear it.
I think this is better than Elijah Craig.
I don't think that's a hot take. I agree with you.
Because I think I've liked these two bottles better than most of the bottles of Elijah Craig that I have had.
Now, I like my A121 because it has a nice, like, I like
It's
the ones that
balanced.
have a nice balance. The C919, which by the way for everyone, Elijah Craig's C919 is what I traded to get this, open for open. And it had flavor, but there comes a point where I think there is such thing as too high a proof for certain whiskeys, and I think almost 137 proof was too high for that.
Yeah,
I think it took something away. Even adding water, it didn't eliminate the right things.
No, and like...
It was really good. Like, if I bought it, I would not have been mad about buying that.
No. But I also think that even with this at a lower proof and being hot, it had more flavor than that did, and it was 14
Most
proof
of the
or
cask
higher.
strengths I've had that I like are around the 120 to 125 proof. Most of my favorites.
Yeah.
With the exception of Makers, because, you know, Makers cask strength is
Whoa.
in the 110 range. That's I sort of put that in its own little league. But most of the cask strengths I've been a fan of are around the 125 to or 120 to 125 mark. Full 1792 full proof. This A121. I mean, there have been exceptions, and most of the exceptions have been Rise or like Stag and Jack Daniel's barrel proof. But I can't. Those are a little different because again, the Jack Daniel's, while it's a bourbon legally, it's still. I mean, Tennessee whiskey still has its own distinct process to it.
Yeah.
And it will impart a difference, and the banana notes change that up for me so much.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, I hesitate to include that just because that's not a bourbon in the
That's
traditional
fair.
sense.
Yeah.
The extra filtering and, you know, Tennessee whiskey just has that different feel to it.
Yes, it does.
But, like, no, I think in terms of cask strength for me, with the exception of Booker's, I think my sweet spot is 120 to 125.
I could see that.
With the exception of Booker's, the Stags, William Luther Weller. But this is a pleasant surprise to me. I'd never had this till just now, so
I think I'm gonna have to keep an eye out for this more often than I am the Elijah Craig barrel proof.
I think for my taste, I think I want this pretty big time.
I'd have to agree.
Especially since I got the sample of the CYPB as well.
Oh, yeah.
Which, by the way, for those watching, Weller CYPB, if you can get it, I would say under 50. I'd say 50 and under. It's worth it. 35 is MSRP, and at 35, that bottle is actually really good. But it made me realize I don't need to hunt for a lot of these Wellers that aren't like the full proof.
No.
I need to try the full proof at some point.
Oh,
I
without
tried
a
the
doubt.
12 at my buddy's place, and it was good, but it didn't blow. Like if I had to pick a 12-year, I'd take Knob or 1792 first.
Yeah.
Or
well,
honestly, Elijah Craig barrel proof.
I think Weller 12 years is a little too watered down. I think it would have been better off at like 100 proof.
Agreed.
But
I think the big winner from Weller is honestly the antique for value.
oh, without
It's
a
not
doubt.
super sought after like the other ones are. You can get it at reasonable prices everywhere. It doesn't command an insane premium on trade. I'll give the same thing with blends. It doesn't command an insane premium.
That's
It's
just
not worth it to me, but it does. It's not like it's super crazy priced either.
that's only in PA and Ohio though.
Well, yeah, but that's what I mean. You know, for what's relevant to me.
Yeah, that's fair.
But like antique, I mean, I can see people paying more. Honestly, of the Wellers I've tried, antique's been my favorite.
So far, yeah, I have to agree.
And again, I've tried the 12. The only thing I'm missing is the foolproof and a foolproof store pick. I've tried an antique store pick. I've tried a 12 store pick. All I'm missing out on is the foolproof and a pick of that.
And the quote unquote single barrel, but that one shouldn't exist.
I'm not even hunting for that.
That one should not fucking exist, and I'm kind of angry that it does.
It is what it is. But back to the Larceny. This is, I mean, I didn't expect I would like this as much as I like B520, but adding a splash of water, I think in this scenario with adding a little water, I like this more. Without the water, I think B520 has a slight edge, but
Yeah, I love the creamy vanilla notes on this one, and I would have had a hard time trading it if B520 had like the same creamy vanilla notes that this one does. But
that's what it was missing. But at the same time, it also had less heat, so more of the actual flavor was coming through.
It was significantly more balanced.
That's the big trade-off. Is this has a nice flavor, but a little water is almost necessary to get all of it out of it.
Yeah, which I'm glad that we tasted this because it's essentially proving that I like Larceny B520 more than most Elijah Craig's, and this is kind of confirming that because even though this was the least favorite from everybody of Larceny, I still like this better than most of the Elijah Craig's.
Not anymore. Now it's from what I've seen, and this is the general consensus. B520, and this is from best to worst. B520, A120, A121, followed very closely by C920, and then B521. And then none of them are bad, but that's just everyone's ranking of favorites.
Which makes me curious because a lot of people rank C920 as the best one so far. So
I was gonna say I put B and A above C. I
interesting.
put A for this. I got to try A121. Literally, the only ones I haven't tried are B521 and well now this one, but I've tried it. And so the only one I don't have an informed opinion on is the B521.
Fair.
And I'd agree with the rankings people have for it, or the rankings that I just gave for it. But this is, I mean, I won this trade personally.
I think you did. I mean, people love Elijah Craig barrel proof. More power to them. I don't get the hype behind it. It's kind of a
See, it's one of those ones where I don't want to say I don't get the hype, but I don't.
You don't get it for you personally.
Agree with the hype. You know what I mean? I get it, but I don't agree personally.
It doesn't resonate.
Yeah, that's the better way to say it. Yeah.
It's understandable, but it doesn't resonate with us personally.
Precisely.
Which, honestly, Elijah Craig in general never really resonated with me. Because, like,
although I love Toasted.
I like Toasted, but I mean, I like 1910 and Woodford better.
I'm the other way around. Where I like Toasted in 1910 and Woodford. Granted, when I say these things, I like every single one of these. I still would replace all three of those. But that's just my order. Because I like that marshmallow note, the roasted marshmallow you get from the Toasted.
What I will say, though,
the others.
I do think that the Toasted Barrel from Elijah Craig is probably my favorite Elijah Craig product.
Oh, agreed.
Not counting B520, like specifically that model.
I haven't tried that batch 5 sample I have. I need to see how the old batches stack up. Those were like borderline hazmat at times. One of them was hazmat. Wasn't one of them 141 or something?
There was a couple of them that were above 140.
Because I think the batch 5 was like 137 or 138.
Something like that.
They were like way high.
Yeah, the older ones were higher than the newer ones for sure. Especially our most recent B521 at 118 proof. Which,
I mean, given the reviews, I don't know. I still want to trade a sample of it with somebody.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because knowing where my sweet spot is with a lot of these cat strengths, and knowing how I like the A121 a lot more than other people seem to have, I don't know. I feel like I might like the B521.
Yeah, I'm just convinced that after trying 5 or 6 different samples
you also tried the best. Was the B520 the first one you tried?
Yes.
Yeah, you tried the best one first, and I think that kind of ruined it for you.
Yeah, people argue between C920 and B520 being the best. I was like, okay, I'll take some of the C920, and I'm sure it'll do the same thing. It didn't do the same thing for me. It was weird.
I did like it, but it didn't do,
C920 is still the best batch I've had that's not B520, and I'm glad that I have it. But
that's how I feel with the A121 is that of the ones I've had, I haven't had B520, so I can't count that.
Yeah.
Of the ones I've personally had, A121, C920, those are very close.
Yeah.
A120, C919. And I haven't had the batch 5, so I can't rank that.
Yeah.
That's about where I put it.
Yeah, I'm going to keep an eye out more for Larceny now and make that more of a priority to get them.
I hate that the Elijah Craig showed up in stores in this one bit, because I'd have bought this in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised, that they did put Elijah Craig in stores and they didn't put this in stores. Because this one was on shelves longer than...
This sat for a while.
It did.
It sat for like a month.
I mean, that was how I picked one up.
Yeah.
But, you know.
And I'm glad you picked it up because now it's almost done on my shelf.
Yes.
Because now it's my celebration bottle because I want to milk it as long as I can because it's still my favorite batch.
I don't blame you.
But that being said, yeah, honestly, if you can find any Larceny barrel proof batch, from what I've heard, give it a try. From my personal experience, I've had all of them but the new one, and I've not been disappointed by any of them. This one has actually pleasantly surprised me. But
I was pleasantly surprised too. I mean, the heat's a little bit much, but you throw
but
in
again,
a little bit of water.
add a drop of water, and I put it right up there with the B520.
Which is weird because usually that's not the thing to go whenever you add water. Usually the heat isn't the first thing to go, but it was the first thing to go with this.
Makes me wonder how recently this was opened.
I don't know. That's a good
Yeah,
question.
I don't know. But we'll find out over time. That being said, there's Larceny A120.